Hey, I pray that you're having a great day and that all is going well. Question: have you read First Samuel chapter 15, where Saul was promoted and then demoted for his disobedience? Let me enlighten you. So in First Samuel chapter 15, God had his prophet Samuel anoint King Saul as king over his people in Israel. And he gave him instructions to obey God and to utterly destroy the Amalekites and do not spare them. Well, King Saul and some of the people, the troops that he took to take over Amalek, ended up sparing King Agag, and then also some of the best of, certain animals and certain things. And they did not obey God. Really, Saul did not obey God because he was the king. So, as a result of Saul's disobedience to God's commands, um, he was rejected as king. Okay? So, Saul ended up lying to Samuel and saying that he performed all the things that the commands that God had told him as far as destroying the Amalekites. And then Samuel asked him, well, why do I hear the sheep, bleeping or that in my ear? I don't know why I just did that. But he was like, why do I hear it in my ear? And so then Saul confessed, and he also blamed the troops for saving some things, and so that they were going to sacrifice them to the Lord his God. Well, Samuel ended up putting Saul in remembrance and reminding him, when he was little in his own sight, did God not make him king over his people in Israel? And Saul was reminded that he needed to humble himself, before God. And due to his disobedience, what was evil in God's sight, he was rejected. So according to 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 22, the word says to obey is better than sacrifice. And verse 23 says rebellion is as sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry, which are really, really, really bad things. So Saul confessed his transgressions and his sins for fearing the faces of men. So he lost his position for fearing the faces of men. The kingdom of Israel was torn away from Saul that day and given to his neighbor, who was better than he was, according to the word. And then Saul was so delusional that he even asked for prophet Samuel to honor him in front of his people, in front of Saul's people. So Samuel ended up commanding Saul to bring King Agag to him, which he did. And of course, King Agag thought everything was okay. Surely, he was okay to stay alive at this point. But actually, no. Samuel came and finished the job, and he cut King Agag up into pieces and completed the mission. So, what is the moral of the story in 1 Samuel chapter 15? The moral of the story is obey God in all that he says to do, because if not, then you can be not only promoted but demoted right as quickly as you were promoted by God. Okay? Complete the mission. Do it to its entirety, not to, half do it, because how you do anything is how you do everything. Okay? So let's just make sure we be obedient to God and his word and his commands, and completely carry them out, and glorify our Father in heaven. All right? Well, remember to love you and love your neighbor as yourself. Bye.